Hello, how you doing? My name is Dubem. I'm a front-end dev. I like to do some back-end. I like to design. Generally, I like to create apps that are interesting, that are useful. Today, I'll be starting a series where I create components using Vue.js. I like Vue.js because it's modular, it's opinionated, and I agree with most of its opinions. So for this particular series, the idea is to create components that are not usually common. Not like modals or buttons. But components that I've come across in my use case, like learning, you know, and I believe it will also be useful to you. So we'll be kicking off with a component I call loop options, and I've just taken a little note here. Like one of the relatable use case for this is, let's say you want to create a toggle for your team, your site team. So instead of having the usual drop down, you can have a toggle between lights, system, that which some sites already do this, you know and also it's also, I believe, like it's also a UX improvement, because if you compare the click, then the move towards the option, then the click again, just one click might be enough for you to get to the option that you want, or two fast clicks, so it could be better, a better option, especially if you have like a limited, I think maximum four options, then this component will be awesome, right? And yeah, so let's dive in. I've set up a little environment that I use for practicals here. This is the finished product of the component, but I created the empty space that we can work with, where I can run you through how I thought through the components. This is basically powered by modulus. In JavaScript, if you know modulus, I think you you might not use modulus a lot at first, but it's very useful when you need to do loops or some kind of like off and on thing or something like that. So yeah, let's get started. So I've created a page where I can actually test out the components, right? So to get started, um we could make it a button on the offset, right? And then we want to set up our sorry. Yeah, GitHub Copilot is giving me some expo. So first things first is to define the props. So we want to define props, right? I want to get model value. I'm going for two-way binding. So yeah, just following through with GitHub Copilot there. So I'm going for two-way binding. So that's why I'm using this model view thing, so that we could use the V model to simply provide the value at the end of the day. So then we want to get the options. So it's going to be a type of array. Let's go with what GitHub Copilot has given us. So basically what I'm doing here is, sorry, let me close that. The type is just going to be an array with this object, and I added an additional property called render. Let's say you don't want to just use icons, right? You could maybe use text or some special components. So that's just the reason for this. And so next, we want to track the index in which you are in, like when you start off, right? The first index should actually be the active value, right? So when you're using model value and you have v model, there's actually an active value, right? The first value, right? So even before that, let's go and define the options over at practical. So I could just come here, and so I want to define the options here. I want to define the options here. So we want to see label. Oh, I wish I extracted the type, but that's fine. So say light value should be light. Right. So yeah, let's get some autocomplete. We want this to be system. Right. So I'm just gonna pass in the options. That should be good. It shouldn't complain because yeah, the type matches. So we're just gonna define this here, and I'll take it down here. So something I like to do sometimes is just to make the first option the first item in the array. So I'm just gonna do this. So that's gonna be equals to light, right? So we have this setup. So if I go to this component, I could just do put this I here. It should be equals to lights. Yeah. So you can see we have this setup. So the first thing we want to do is that we want to make sure that we know the active index of the current index of the value, right? The current or the value of this particular component. So we're gonna do current index is gonna be equals to, we want to loop through the options and then find the index, right? So we're just gonna take what ChatGPT has provided. So basically we are finding the active index, and you know, um we are going to use it for something anyways. We're going to use it for something. So we are initializing this current index is where we're going to start from basically, but not really. Let me go take this out actually. Const um we're just going to separate it here because I would want to do something. I want to put this in a ref so that we could track it. Okay, so I'm using some autocomplete. So what I basically done here is that I'm checking, because find index returns -1 if it finds nothing, right? So I'm checking to see if the value is actually -1. That means nothing is found. Just give it a 0. Let's start from the first item. But if it's found, we want it to be this value +1, what we found, the index +1. Why we are putting the +1 is that when you want to begin to toggle, you want to start from the next item, right? You don't want to toggle to the current item, right? So that's the reason why we're having this +1 here. Let's see why it's complaining. It's saying it's possibly undefined. Why would that be? Okay, yeah, because of this. So if we take away this, it shouldn't be undefined, but it's saying options is possibly undefined. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Okay, we could just do this as well. Yeah, it's fine. That should go away. Yeah, that should go away now. So if I were to console this current index now, it should be equals to 0. Then watch this. If I go over here and why is all this complain about? It's possibly undefined. No, 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 no. Something is wrong. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, this correct. Yeah, yeah, possibly undefined. So if I were to change this to 1, yeah, so it's matching because it's able to, yeah, so this is correct. So when we go back here now, the next step is that we want to add a click event at click. We want to toggle option. Let's just say toggle option. What is it? Okay. So we'll go here and define the option. What is going on? Right. So yeah, I don't want no autocomplete now. So the first thing we are sure of is that we always want to increment. Right. Another thing we are sure of is if there were no options, if no sorry, if no props dot options, or yeah, the length is 0, we return, but we could just return, or we could as well throw an error, or we could console dot log or dot one an option, but let me just return, right? So if you were like publishing this library, you might want to like just throw a warning. So for sure we know we are going to be incrementing the index, right? And yeah, so the next step now is that we want to make sure that we return a value. We set what we are toggling. So I want to define an emit. So I like to define it above the props. Define emit is gonna be update model value. So over here, let's admit something. So we want to next index will be equals to current index value modulus the length, right? So this is actually the code that powers the whole thing, right? So if you were to go to your console and use like try to have a number modulus another number, like it should be like another number, you would be able to see that no matter how you increment the first number, right, it will keep you looping, right? It will keep you looping. Like this works perfect. So you could just take this and emit it out. Um, right, we could just take this and emit it out. Why is it complaining? Okay. So with this now, everything should work fine. So are we sure we're using V model here? Okay, we're using V model. So with this now, it would keep on switching the value, toggling. So let's actually check. Refresh. I want to provide the right thing here just to be sure. Right, so if I were to click on, okay, let's just style the button a bit. Okay, I want to style the page a little bit. Let's see, all right, so if I were to go to the button and click, you see we're actually moving perfectly, right? We're moving perfectly. So let me refresh the page again. So we're starting off of light. We should move to dark, then system, then back to light. So let's try it. Dark, system, light. Dark, system, light. You see it's working perfectly. So what's this zero over here? So okay, yeah, this is static. So this is actually what we want to console out. Yeah. So you see that this is actually, this keeps increasing, increasing, increasing. But because of that modulus, it helps us to keep it in a loop. Right. So if I were to on the side take this for myself and put this here and here. So you're gonna see the actual index. You know, it keeps looping, 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 looping. Right. So you can now go ahead and then use your icons or whatever it is that you want. You know, I think what I did was to provide display option to provide a computed value that allowed me to actually display the active. Sorry, my cough. Yeah, the weather has been kind of crazy. So with this, I could actually display based on several conditions. So if it were a string, the case where it would be a string, 1 second. The case where it would be a string is like when an option is not found, it just defaults to the value, right? But um yeah, I'm just using autocomplete. Yeah, so you could use it anyhow. Basically, it's working now. This is just extra sugar, right? So with this, yeah, you can see it's looking much better. We can use an icon. We can use whatever it is that we want, but essentially the component is working, right? So I like to see what you create with this, or if this is actually a useful tool to you. All right, and leave a comment, share this video, and would like to see you in the next series. Bye.